Hey everybody, this is Brent with Comics CC Studio here at FiveStar ComicCon in Dayton, Ohio. And I am talking just to some of the vendors, some of the artists, some of the comic book writers, and we have a comic book writer here. Fish, sir,
Yep.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good, man.
Good.
I'm having a good time.
So let me ask you, if you remember, what first got you into comics? Like if you've been a lifelong comic book reader, tell us your story.
There were always comics around the house because my brother was like 10 years older than me. And back in the day, if I was like good at the doctor's, mom would get me one at the pharmacy while we were waiting on a prescription. But the thing that really set my future in stone was the first episode of Scooby-Doo and Scrappy when I was a kid.
Okay.
Like sitting in my underwear eating Cheerios in front of the TV. And the first episode had like this comic book creator who his creation, like the Blue Scarab or something, came to life and became a villain, and they had to, save the day. When I realized that you could like work in an office and get paid to draw superheroes all day,
right,
I was done. My life was set from that point on.
So are you mainly a writer or illustrator or both?
Mostly I'm known as an illustrator because I illustrate not only my own books but other people's as well. And I do a whole lot of like freelance work illustrating a lot of indie books. And if you have a dream and a story you've always wanted to tell, you give me a script and I give you a finished book that you can take to print. And I'm really fast and people tend to like what I do, and I hit deadlines and I actually get books done instead of like, yeah, that sounds great, and then it goes on forever and you get distracted and never finish the job. I don't know how people do that.
Yeah.
But I got a mortgage to pay, so I got to get books done and get paid.
Yeah.
They want that money every month no matter what.
So kind of tell us a little about, and maybe you already did a little bit with that Scooby-Doo episode, but tell us a little about the transition from going, oh, this is so cool, to actually starting to incorporate it like into your life and really knowing this is something I want to pursue.
Oh man. I mean, I always thought it would be fun to do that, and I was always drawing and always trying to learn and get better. It was really, what really made a big change was the Goonies. Because I wanted to be Data when I was a kid, and I wanted to build a jacket with all the cool gadgets in it. And my mom, the brilliant woman that she was, wouldn't let me go to the junkyard and get stuff to build a jacket without having really detailed plans. Because she knew I would drag home everything cool I found at the junkyard, and we'd have a 57 Chevy in the living room, and she didn't want that. She's a brilliant woman. And so I started drawing plans for my jacket, and it got more complex, and then I started watching Inspector Gadget, and I had to figure out how to strap a lawnmower motor to a football helmet so I could fly, and then, it kept going, and then I got into Iron Man, and I got to figure out how to make this suit fly and how to build repulsors, and then eventually I realized, A, I was never going to figure out a magical power source that was going to power this without weighing 1 billion tons, and B, I'm basically already drawing comic books at this point. Like, I was drawing so much stuff. Mm-hmm. I was like, you know what? It's easier to just draw it and not have to make it physically work. And it plays into the storyteller aspect that I always had as well. And it's just the best of both worlds. Like, it's a medium that I love. It's a way of telling stories that I love. I get to express my ability to tell stories. And I get to draw entire worlds and make whole, Call the Cro-Magnon come to life, an entire planet full of bird creatures, and Alice Lost in Wonderland where she's going through this interdimensional rift full of all kinds of aliens. I don't have to hire crews, I don't have to build sets, I don't have to get, actors to work with me.
Yeah.
I can create it all myself. And that's a really magical part. If I had millions of dollars, I'd be doing movies. But since I'm a single dude, I do comic books instead.
Okay, so tell us about some of the comics that we see here.
The Mighty Caw was absolutely a dream that woke me up one day laughing at the pun of Caw the Cro-Magnon. And I had this image in my head. I got up and drew it. I spent like 2 weeks trying to perfect it and make it better, and the only thing I did was put pants on him. He came out beautiful, and it's just a bloody bird barbarian killing his way across the galaxy. It's just like Saturday morning fun as like a R-rated like action comedy. and it's a lot of fun. But Alice Lost in Wonderland is like, that's my passion project. That's the story. That's the whole reason I do this, was to get enough of an audience to make it worthwhile to do that story. And I've been working on that story for 30 years, and it evolved from like a power fantasy as a kid as to like, what would it be like if you had a sword that could cut through reality and you could travel like a TARDIS, but you could go anywhere, do anything, and nobody can tell you what to do. And, you know, what would that person be like? I didn't think probably a hero, but like, what would you do if you could do anything?
Yeah.
And it was just a power fantasy. As I got older and I matured and my life changed and I experienced things, the character that's now the White Rabbit got more complex and more complicated. And as I adopted kids, he adopted a daughter. And then eventually I had another idea. Somebody was asking me, like, well, where do you get your ideas from? And I was like, it could be anything. Like, take a fairy tale and turn it on its head. What if Little Boy Blue is on an alien planet and the sheep is like a 40-story kaiju? Or what if Alice is a Ronin samurai warrior in an interdimensional rift called Wonderland? And I had that idea I could not get out of my head after just tossing it out flippantly. And I was trying to think, what book was I going to do next? Was I going to work on my time-traveling magnum opus, or was I going to do the Mighty Call, or was I going to do this crazy new Alice story that I had? Mm-hmm. And I realized my wife was driving us to a con, and we were talking. I was trying to figure it out, and I realized if I took his daughter out of the story and made it Alice instead, and turned it around and told it from her point of view and jumped to the end.
Yeah.
Then we can get to all the juicy parts. I can have an awesome, badass female character as the main character of the book, and she can already hate him for the mistakes he made as her dad. And then we can go back and see what it was like, get flashes of when she loved him as a kid, what went wrong, get to see glimpses of that, and hopefully by the end of the story, you'll understand why she hates him. You'll understand he tried the best he could, and like, feel bad for everybody.
Yeah.
And you know, there aren't any real winners or losers, but on top of all the sci-fi time travel loop-de-loop nonsense, at its core it's about generational trauma and trying to not make the mistakes your parents made and make all new mistakes and still have your kids hate you. And you know, it's not easy, and try as you might, you can still mess up and not do a very good job. And
so would you say that's kind of the what if a reader said, what would you like me to get out of your comics? Is that kind of what you would say to them? Just being able to process through things that our life has gone on in our life, the hard times?
Yeah, and like identify with the fun parts of her and the wild parts of Alice. Like she's kind of a little bit feral because she's grown up like on the run with this time traveling bounty hunter dude her whole life, and has never had to answer for things and can do whatever she wants. And you see that in the books. Like, she will pull the trigger before asking the question sometimes and get herself in huge fights, get in over her head, and has to have the Tin Man bail her out at the last second. Doesn't think things through, and we see like the ramifications as she goes along, that she's been raised by a guy who was on the run his whole life, so she's always been on the run, hasn't really dealt with things, comes in contact with her ex, and her ex is furious, and she's like, why are you mad? And he's like, you know, you blew me up. Like, you used to love my high explosives. But like, you know, eventually, I love complex characters. I love the people that you hate to love.
Yeah.
And, you know, that are in those tough areas and are dealing the best they can, not necessarily in good ways with the trauma they went through.
Yeah.
And, you know, might feel absolutely, you know, right to hold a grudge and be angry about this, but what they're doing isn't any better than what they did the generation before or the generation before.
Yeah.
And when it comes to time travel, maybe you're the reason Dad did this in the beginning. Like, you know, I get to do all kinds of fun stuff like that too.
One last question, then I'll get kind of info where people can find you. If someone were wanting to be an aspiring comic book artist, what is like one piece of advice that you would give them? Or if they wanted to come and show their stuff at a convention, what are a couple pieces of advice you could give to those people?
The two number one pieces of advice I will always give. Number one, steer into the skid. If you don't want to do it or it scares you, make yourself do it all the time. Like, if you're scared of drawing hands, put the hands in every frame, never stick them in the pockets. Like, you will get good at it. I was so terrified of drawing hands in the beginning, and I got called out because everybody had their hands in their pockets and stuff. Now in Alice, the cobbler, his elves are little hand spiders, and I draw hands all freaking day long, all over the walls, hundreds of them, because I'm not going to let myself be afraid of it. Half the reason I did the Mighty Caw is because I didn't want to draw wings, so I made a character with wings to force myself to do it. If I don't want to do it, I do it a lot. I had a client offer me 3 different scripts. One of them had a main character that was a golden retriever. I was like, I don't want to draw a dog, so I'm doing that one. And it turned out beautiful. It's one of my favorite books I worked on.
It's amazing. So face your fears.
Yes, absolutely. Face your fears. And the other is get started doing it. You just start making books. Your first book is going to stink. Congratulations. All of our first books stink. That's fine. That's how you learn. The mistakes you make in that first book, you will learn from. You will never make them again because you're so embarrassed about it. You will learn so much, you will grow so much, and nothing teaches you like anatomy and perspective like actually having to do it. I've made a living as an artist since junior high. I just turned 51. I have been working as an artist making my living since junior high in the 80s. And when I started drawing people's D&D characters on the bus. And I have worked in production artwork and advertising and logo design and stuff for years. My artwork jumped significantly in 2019 when I started doing comics full time. Because drawing one logo or one t-shirt design a day or one cool image a day is absolutely nothing compared to drawing panel after panel, page after page all day long. You will draw so many hands, so many faces, so many women, so many men, so many backgrounds, so many cars. I draw so many people in suits I never thought I would draw. And I'm so good at drawing suits and ties now that I never thought I would have been able to do. Because like just the repetitiveness of it, it trains you so well. So start making them. Make some bad books. It'll be fine. You'll get better. And you'll have stuff to sell. Go to a con. Get some books made. You can get them printed cheap now digitally, and try it out. See if you have fun, and it's amazing. And it's never been easier to do.
So if people want to find you, because this will be going online and on my podcast, where can they, if they're interested in your work, following you, where can they go to find you?
Mr. Fish Comics, all over social media. MrFishComics.com is a storefront. You can buy all the books. I'm Mr. Fish Comics on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. And go Mr. Fish, GOMRFISH.com will take you to what I'm working on right now, all the time. So right now, that's still late pledges are open for the Green Zone trade, which collects all 4 issues and like 60-something pages of extra material together into a big, like 200-page graphic novel. They just got picked up by Comic or Press and is going to go nationwide in bookstores. And late pledges are still open for that right now. But when I'm on the next issue of Alice, Go Mr. Fish will always take you there. Wherever I'm doing right now.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you, sir, very much.
Absolutely.
And
thank you.
Check out this guy's stuff. He's an amazing creator. Thank you.